Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Texas Longhorns picking up their third commitment coming out of a massive official visit weekend last weekend. And four-star running back Christian Clark from the state of Arizona. Probably don't have to remind many Texas Longhorn fans the last time Texas went into the state of Arizona and grabbed a running back. It obviously turned out pretty good with Bijan Robinson. This kid there's a lot to like about his game. We're going to get into the film. But talking about this Texas Longhorns running back room and what it could be, not only in 2024 and 2025, but there's starting to be a lot of talent that is getting together in this running back room. Tashard Choice doing a phenomenal job. When you talk about young recruiters that are getting it done on the trail, not many better in the game than Tashard Choice. You look at Jarrett Gibson, a lot of traction going Texas's way that way as well. So you're looking at a class where you have Christian Clark from Arizona, the number 2 running back in the country, and Jarrett Gibson from IMG Academy. It's been a slow start for Texas in the 2024 class, but there is a lot of momentum that's building up. They've had a ton of talented guys on campus last weekend, which we'll talk about, and are set to have a massive official visit weekend this weekend as well. Before we get into it again, just want to say thank you to you guys, the Texas Longhorn fans. You guys have been awesome. And if you like talking recruiting, you like the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. And for Texas fans, I'll link it up there. We just took a deep dive into this Texas team heading into 2023. I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that as well. So if you guys want, go check out that as well. But let's talk a little Christian Clark. As you take a look at this dude is very, very like elite feet. Between the tackle box, a one-cut kind of guy, makes people miss in a telephone booth. Lots to like about his game. Let's pull up the film before we get into what we're looking at for Texas this weekend as well. But Christian Clark, one thing I want to say about him, last year, his junior year, 37 catches for 368 yards. That was something that Bijan Robinson, obviously for how good he was carrying the football, also an elite back out of the backfield. Coach Sark in that offense, they like to use their running backs as passing threats as well, getting them in space. And a guy that you don't see many stat lines from top running backs from the high school ranks going 37 catches for 368 yards. You barely see that at the college football level. So that's something to note for Christian Clark. But getting into his film, like elite level short area quickness, makes people miss with ease. And then he does have the burners to hit that home run ball as well. But what you're, I think, most optimistic about is how well he navigates his blocks and makes people miss between the tackles. Because, again, he just looks so comfortable and so shifty, setting up defenders, making them miss. And when he gets space, I mean, there's not many people that are making open field tackles on him. Thick lower half, too, 6 foot, about 200 pounds. You see the kind of thick lower half in terms of the contact balance. You obviously see it right there. Probably will play around 205. But there's a lot to like about his game in terms of how he makes people miss, how he works at the second level. He's a very, very comfortable running back in space. Texas fans, it's starting to heat up. Now, taking a look at this class in general, this is their 6th commitment. Freddie Dubose, Santana Wilson, and Christian Clark all committing after their official visit this weekend. Taking a look at who was there, and if this Texas weekend went as well as it seems like it went, it's going to be a busy next couple of weeks for Texas on the recruiting trail. And again, you had such a good class in 2023. Sometimes it's hard to stack really good classes together. And obviously Texas, a little bit of a slow start, right? Sitting outside the top 50, but only 6 commitments. And something we talk about similarly with other programs, when you're going after the caliber of players Texas is going after, sometimes it's hard to get those early commitments. Like when you're going after 5-star edge rusher Colin Simmons, like that recruitment might go into the fall. And so if you're Texas, you're sitting here with only 6 commitments outside the top 50. I'm not too concerned. Like this does Texas, how well they were on the trail in 2023 and all the talent that's been on campus for official visit weekends this month, you're feeling pretty good about how this class is going to come together. And then let's get to the talent that's been on campus. And we'll go back to last weekend. 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo. I don't know if y'all saw the pictures, was sitting right next to Arch Manning. That's my take, is the best way you can get a wide receiver to come to your program is 1, having a dynamic offense, which Coach Sark will have, but 2, these wide receivers knowing who's going to be their quarterback, knowing and being confident that when they get to school, there's going to be a solid arm that's going to be delivering them the football. Not many better quarterbacks to sell wide receivers than a guy like Ryan Wingo. 5-star tackle Brandon Baker. All the success you're having with Kelvin Banks, I think that's a good selling point for the 5-star out of Mater Dei. You obviously had Jordan Ross. Another guy I want to talk about, Arion Hampton, between Alabama and Texas, I believe. And then Danny Okoye, another really, really physically gifted edge rusher, I should say, from Oklahoma. Texas gaining traction with him as well. So a ton of talent that's been on campus. And then fast forward to look at who will be on campus. It's a laundry list of guys that's going to be on campus for Texas this weekend. And again, Jarrett Gibson, I think Texas is going to take 2 running backs. It seems like Jarrett Gibson is still trending towards Texas. And again, you look at that backfield, CJ Baxter, Jarrett Gibson, Christian Clark, absolutely loaded for Texas through, like, if you're looking at this running back room going over the next couple of years. But who they'll have on campus this weekend, 19 total visitors. Texas has been really laying out the red carpet for these guys. Colin Simmons, a dude that I think LSU and Texas probably in the lead for. This guy from Duncanville, Texas. This is probably one of, if you're talking about crown jewels of the class, I mean, Colin Simmons is probably up there. I think Texas probably has the lead with him. It's his last official visit weekend of the month, I believe, going into the dead period. So that's a good sign. And then Kobe Black, I wouldn't be surprised if Texas can wrap up that and get a commitment. He's been a Texas lean for a really long time. No doubt purposefully scheduled his last official visit for Texas. You have the just all-around athlete in Terry Bussey. Dominic McKinley coming over from Louisiana. Again, so many top 100 players nationally that will be on campus for Texas. A couple other guys that I want to note that are just kind of my guys, if you will. Jordan Johnson-Rebel, as a Michigan fan, I think this dude is an absolute stud. I think he can play safety. I think he can play in the box. I think he can play that nickel spot. He's one of my favorite prospects. And again, Texas getting him for that last official visit weekend. TJ Lindsey, that's battling with Oklahoma. Jaden Jackson, another guy coming from IMG. You're seeing a lot of traction with IMG for Texas with Jarrett Gibson, Jaden Jackson. It's a loaded list. And so, again, going back to that Texas class in 2024, not complete yet, but it's nowhere near to complete. You see the puzzle pieces that Coach Sark and the staff are getting assembled, and now you're starting to see the dominoes fall. This is what, their 3rd commitment in the last 72 hours, maybe, going back to Santana Wilson. Traction is coming. Recruiting is a momentum game. You remember when Arch Manning committed to Texas, then you start seeing a lot of guys come to Texas. That's kind of how the recruiting game works. And for Texas, it certainly seems like the dominoes and that momentum are starting to fall for Texas fans. I think you got to be really excited about this one. And again, appreciate you guys checking us out. Wanted to keep this one short. Again, if you do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and then go check out our Texas deep dive. We spent a lot of time digging into this program, a lot of talented players on this roster heading into 2023. Appreciate you guys checking the boys out. If you do enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all